Okay. Third time is the charm, friends. Let me know how things are going. I really hope this doesn't have to be my consistent fix for this. And that is what they say. Welcome back again, Jody. Hello again, Lydell. Good to see ya. Alright. Now it should be working fine. I hope this isn't the consistent fix because it's making me run OBS in safe mode, it seems like, to get it to work. Which isn't great because then I don't have as many audio options as normal. But I might have to play with those settings independently. I feel like each time I stream, I think I figured out a new reason why my streaming doesn't work at the beginning. So we're gonna see if we eventually completely solve the problem. Get ready, get your riz going, guys. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Freddie. Hello, Pixar. Good to see you guys here. It only took 3 times. I know, not bad. I feel like we're getting better each time. Will this be a business run or a rizness run? You know, it's wherever the wind takes us run. We're gonna try and do every possible ending or option is my goal, but I want to finish in time so Sarah can still stream, so we're gonna try and speed running it. That being said, I think the thing that was interesting me the most last we left off was if we pursued different options with following the girl. This is the wrong place to start. This is if we already escaped the town. Wait a minute. Let's go back. Let's go back. Loading, loading, yada, yada, yada. I did not want to start at the beginning. Main menu, please. I had accidentally clicked too fast. So where do we start? We don't want to start the city entry. Gilman Hotel Night Escape. I want to start Town Square. That's where we wanted to start, wasn't it? There we go. Alright. I just misclicked, friends. There was a fish, a child got kicked, I stole a car and left. Exactly. And we're living a different life now. We're living a life where we're still gonna follow. I think we should still follow the child to the mansion. And then, oh yeah, there was the police station stuff too. But then we'll actually follow the lady as she's trying to lead us into, like, the wrong spot, you know? We'll see how that ends. I'm sure in death. My guess is most likely death. Well, the games, because that's how we're gonna find the missing girl. You gotta play Boom. You got it. It's the only option in life. Kick. The instinct is to kick, but we must find the child. The girl looks up to you. Talk to Teva. Last time we got her. This time, you know, we'll go for the gentle approach. So as not to scare her, you know, we'll gently sink to our knees. Oh yeah, I think last time when we tackled her, that went wrong. We had to redo it and do the gentle approach anyway, because the gentle approach is the only one that works. So 48-hour stream, let's go. We're living the S life. That's right, guys, because I made that thumbnail like 2 seconds before stream, and I accidentally mistyped a button. Whoops. I'll have to change it later, which I was kind of already planning to. I'll show her the photo. Your mother gave it to me. Noise of confusion. Different named child. Also, hope you guys are all doing good as we head into the holidays. Hope you're having a good day. Looking forward to Christmas Eve. Don't mind me as I just skip through text that we've already covered. Okay, so next run we'll follow the address, but this run we'll see the other options here. Rip and tear. I defeated the technical difficulties! Always in the end, we will beat the technical difficulties. With enough persistence. Can you believe it? Christmas, just a week away. Just a 1 week. Raleigh Road. Completely different area than what would have awaited you. We'll just walk in silence this time. I think we got to know her enough the first time. Because this girl hasn't been the most talkative so far, you save up all your questions for her mother. You don't want to interrupt the girl's concentration when she's reading you to her real house. Evelyn and you stand there for a little while, and I like that it still gives you the option to just ask questions. Oh well, this is once we got to her address. That makes sense. You live here? This is where you live? Up there? The girl gives you a look that perhaps best surmised with a duh, where else would I live? Yes, my family's been living here for... She pauses, squints intently, and thinks. About 180 years? Family tradition, then. So do, like, these fish people live a really long time? Is that what that's implying? Or is it just like, yeah, they've just been around a while? The child is Sarah. She looks goofy. Sarah's so much cuter than this child. I'm multitasking with playing Lethal Company at the same time as this. You should, Jody. I think that is wise. You can just listen to my readings on my goings. My readings and my goings. Right, shall we go in? Evelyn nods bravely. Why do you have to be brave to enter your own house? She fishes around in her pockets and gets out a small set of keys with 2 shiny golden keys, a bit rusty. She's walking up the stairs. Yeah, we'll enter with her. The girl puts the second key of the covenant in the lock and turns it around. The door opens with a creak. The beam of the walls growl deeply and growl deeply and menacingly, as if you were standing in front of the mouth of a lion. Evelyn gropes for something in the darkness. You hear a soft click, and the corridor is filled with light. The entrance area of the house alone offers so much space that the smaller house could fit inside. You step in. She calls out for her mom. Dahlia's like, "What the heck are you doing here?" "Hello, beautiful." We did that last time, so this time... Case solved, ma'am. The expression of outright horror is still on Dahlia's face, while the little girl looks worried at her mother. Dahlia holds her hands in front of her mouth, an antiquated gesture which reminds you of old films, in which men had strange beards and women wore corsets. She recovers herself, says, "Nice to see you," before you can reply. Ooh, lore-wise, the fish people can't die of age. No way. Okay, so they are just super old. I believe they're called the Deep Ones in H.P. Lovecraft stories. This game is surprisingly relaxing. It kind of is, isn't it, Jody? Just super chill, you know? Nothing bad ever happens. Ask for immediate payment. Dinner sounds splendid. A bonus for a solved case and a free meal. If only you'd brought your Tupperware. Maybe you can clarify some things over dinner. I'd love to, you say, and Dahlia claps her hands excitedly. She turns to her daughter and purrs. Darling, please go to your room. I'll bring up your food later. The girl rushes up the stairs. The time has come. Only you and Dahlia. She absent-mindedly strokes her hand over her décolleté. Please, come through to the dining room. Follow her? Not like we had another choice. We already committed. You follow Dahlia through the house. The property already looked grand from the outside, but it's even more impressive inside and looks even bigger. At least that's what it appears to be. But perhaps you should simply watch fewer British sci-fi shows. You start looking around, follow her without delay. Okay, well, I mean, what are we if not a little bit of a snoop? True, Sarah is a cutie. Exactly, Pixar. Thank you. We need to have some Sarah cutie recognition, always and forever. I don't know why I read that delayed. Sometimes I check up chat when it bounces up and my eyes go somewhere higher in the chat. I forgot about the hearts. I'm about to go nuts. Hello, Noonie Tunes. Yeah, thanks, Jody. The music paired with your voice acting makes it feel like a bedtime story. I am here to put you all at rest. Ease yourself into sleep. Listen to the nice soft piano and my soon-to-be probably screeching. The first room you enter is a kind of living room for dandies. It has everything a stinking rich fellow on the East Coast would require to spend a relaxing Sunday afternoon. Bookcases that reach up to the ceiling, a whiskey bar, a lit fireplace with winged chairs close by, and of course, a conservatory where you can stand and swing your whiskey glasses while watching the seagulls outside. Swig. Swing. I think they meant swig, but they wrote swing. I can relate, since I meant to write I will live 1,000 lives, and I wrote, I will live 1,000 lives. I'm being influenced by the fish subconsciously. But I just ate breakfast. Well, that's too bad, Fulcrum lives. It's time to go to bed now. You could say it's a live Audible story. Yeah, and you get to engage with it. That's true. Well, here you can like just take a little nap and then you can be awake for Sarah's stream while she streams for 24 hours straight. So that's what you can do. The adjoining dining room is furnished simply, but it has an ominous and oppressive vibe about it. A massive long wooden table stands in the middle of the room, and an elaborate candle holder provides a warm, soft light. The walls are hung with portraits of those who must be the ancestors of the family. Just opposite where you're standing now, a door leads into another part of the house. The table is set up for 3 people. A young redhead in a black and white maid's outfit is already in the room when you enter. When she sees you next to Dahlia, she's unable to hide her surprise. Guests seem to be rare here. Without introducing you, Dahlia walks up to her, and the two of them exchange a few whispered words. I will certainly not be awake for Sarah's stream. It's 2 a.m. for me. Well, Jody, I applaud that you are going to at least be attempting rest at 2 a.m. I know that has not always been easy for you to do, so hopefully you'll be able to rest well. Ryan, but I have an obligation to replace all the fake swears in Sarah's stream, and I have to get up at 3 a.m. EST anyways. Well, that's what I'm saying is you can nap now and then be awake for Sarah's stream. So, and then you'll be extra awake, right? So I'll tell you the little bedtime story and you just take a little nap, and then on Sarah's stream you'll be like, man, because of that nap, I can now be awake for 24 more hours. No. Alrighty. Without looking you in the eyes, the maid leaves the room through the door you just came in. A lot of secrecy for a simple dinner. Dahlia spreads her arms invitingly as she walks back over to you. Please, make yourself at home. Take a seat. She gestures to one of the empty chairs. Look around the dining room, take a seat. We gotta snoop. Our first time going anywhere, you gotta gather information. We're a detective, this should be expected. The paintings really draw you in. Apparently, to be immortalized in a portrait that will eventually end up on one of these walls, you only need to fulfill a couple of criteria. Have bloodshot pop eyes and be able to pull off whiskers or stern, pinned-up hairdos. The brow strokes are harsh, just like the people that are being depicted in the pictures. Bad tempers seem to run in the Marsh family. Hey, you don't know if they have a bad temper just because they got RBF. Right? Leaping to conclusions here. These faces stand testament to unpleasant and aggressive personalities, and you don't recognize any of them. You do as you're told. You carefully fold your trench coat over the back of the chair. You assume that it will take a while until the food arrives, so you take off your hat and place it on the table. I feel like you could have found a better place to put your hat than just on the dining table, but alright. The table is absurdly long. This is how you've always imagined criminals having their Sunday dinner. Everyone would have to talk very loudly just to be understood by the other people at the other end of the room. But they're more pragmatic in the Marsh family. 3 covers are all on the same end of the table. The soft plopping sound of a cork pulled out of a bottle focuses your scattered thoughts. Then Dahlia suddenly stands next to you with an open bottle of wine in her hand. How about a glass after all this excitement? Decline. Hand her your empty glass. Let the wine breathe. On this run, let's not ingest anything, because I'm sure that will be some kind of poison. We'll see. Oh, you're lucky, autistic Bigfoot. Self-employed and make your own hours. Nice, dude. How many hours away is the stream? Sarah's stream? I think the latest... I want to try and wrap everything up here around 7:30 to give her time, but I think she was going to start around 7:30 or 8. So I have like a 30-minute buffer from my intended target end time. But trying to end around that time. But then I gotta dig in, man. I gotta speed run. I gotta read at double time speed. I gotta read so fast that you couldn't 2 times speed or you wouldn't be able to understand a single thing that's being said. That's how fast I gotta read this. I exist purely out of spite, sleeping optional. Hey, that's your choice, Lytle. Alright, let's decline. No, I'm fine, thanks. This seems the wrong moment for alcohol. So many things are going through your head after the events of this day. Dahlia frowns. Her fingers play with the faded label on the wine bottle. When I was in your office, it seemed to me that you knew how to appreciate a good wine. Well, she does have a point. Insist? No, okay, go on then. Well, insist. Okay, we're staying sober-minded. We already made one bad decision. Stay sober-minded. Speed is key. I'm sorry, ma'am. Not now. Not today. Well, let me know if you change your mind. She purrs, completely ignoring what you just said. Now she's flirting with us, guys. She puts the bottle down more forcefully than perhaps necessary and sits down. You wonder whether you should say something. Talk about the dangers of alcohol. Oh, how hypocritical. Wait for the food. We should probably make just casual dinner conversation, right? Like, instead of just sitting in silence. A lecture is better than quiet, surely. You lean forward in your seat. Did you know that studies have shown that peer pressure is the single most important reason that brings people to drink and smoke for the first time? Dahlia's eyes glaze over. You wonder why she doesn't seem impressed with your trivia. Perhaps you should change the topic, or simply wait for food? Silently, you look down at your empty plates. Dahlia looks annoyed and keeps checking the door. She also seems to be fiddling with something under the table with her left hand. This would be a good time to ask some questions. Time to do chemistry and put this on in the background. Good luck. Good luck with your chemistry, Fulcrum. Jody, I've never drunk alcohol, actually. Freddie, same. I will not be peer pressured. Good on you guys. Don't drink it if you don't want to drink it. That's the whole thing. I've had, like, sips and stuff here and there. It's just not my taste. Not my, poison. My chain of command is lecturing us again on the dangers of alcohol. You'll never hear it enough times. Dahlia, is the wine spiked? You look stunning tonight. Why did you give me the wrong address? Well, this is interesting. Did we get to ask about the wrong address last time? I don't remember. I feel like that probably would have come up, so that's the only reason I'm not as inclined to say it this time. I don't know why we would assume the wine is spiked, since we haven't had any. But we could riz. You look beautiful. You beam at her, secretly wondering whether you've brushed your teeth today. I would hope you would know. You think you can see the brief flicker of a smile, but then Dahlia's mouth turns into a thin line. Thanks, she says frostily, and you get uncomfortable goosebumps all over. I hope you like fish, Dahlia says into the silence. Innsmouth is well known for its fleet. We've always had the best catch. She smiles. Mention your vegan lifestyle. Good luck on your new book, Autistic Bigfoot. I would be so honored if you made a me-inspired character, but obviously, no pressure. What do you mean, spice like it's spicy, or it's been laced with poison? Spiked. Spiked with a K. Sorry if I misspoke or if I slurred or something. Is this one of those games where the big cool monster shows up for 7 seconds right at the end and I get sad? Greaser Man, it might be. We've had a couple monsters show up at the end of the chapters. I guess the fish people are cool with cannibalism. It's definitely gotta be some kind of cannibalism, but there's tons of fish that also eat other fish, so I guess it's just nature. I think that we shouldn't lecture again. I think we should lean into accepting what she says. Enter that Riz life. I love fish, you say a little too enthusiastically, but she seems pleased. Perfect, she says and adds, the moment we met, I knew you'd fit right into our town. The door leading to the living room opens and the maid returns. She's not alone though and pushes an old man in a wheelchair to the empty seat at the end of the table. You have trouble assessing the situation. Who the hell is this? Dahlia's grandfather? Sunken eyes stare into the void from under white, bushy brows. The mouth, surrounded by impressive wrinkles, appears to chew on gosh knows what. The maid leaves the room without another word. Silence. Who on earth is this? Who the hell is this? You wonder to yourself. Who the hell is this? You ask out loud. Dahlia gestures towards the old man and says, May I introduce my father, Jebediah Marsh. Jebediah startles slightly when he hears his name. Only now does he seem to realize where he is. The man looks around the room and stops you. He spits something onto the floor. A black, gooey mass of what you hope is chewing tobacco lands on the carpet. Oh my. You know, he's not the most misproportionate or, interestingly designed fish person we've seen so far, to be honest. Yeah, that's right, Freddy. A lot of fish eat fish, so not really cannibalism. Oh, thank you, Greaser Man. I'm glad that my voice isn't annoying to listen to. It's always good to hear. A very fancy name, at least. Yes, very true. An old country name. Yuck. Where are your manners? Introduce yourself. Shall we be rude? I always flip-flop. Where are your manners, you ask on behalf of Dahlia, and in order to defend common decency more generally. Jebediah puckers his blackened lips and gazes into the middle distance again. His tongue seems to push something into one side of his mouth, and then he turns back to you. What did you say, you little asshole? Where are your manners, you old fart? We just come into this home and just start lecturing people. That might be why our Riz fails so often. As soon as you ask the question, it hovers ominously in the room. Dahlia first looks at you aghast, then over to her father. Jebediah is no longer a weak, lethargic hull of a man. He grips the armrests of his wheelchair so tightly that his knuckles turn white. The typical Innsmouth bug eyes reveal themselves under the bushy eyebrows. But can he really see that much from behind those cataract-ridden eyes? Thick drops of chewing tobacco run down his chin. What did you just call me? He croaks. Go one better. I like that I was like, let's try to avoid death, and then I'm like, a chance to be rude, walk right into death. I'm just listening along, but occasionally I'll look at the screen and get jump scared by these interesting character designs. I hear you, Jody. Although, honestly, this guy is definitely not the worst of the fish people. I'd say he looks more along human lines than a lot of the ones we've seen. The harsh reaction of the nasty old man makes it easier for you to confront him. Maybe it's just that kind of day today. You won't let this old bastard get away with such rude behavior. You get up from your chair, fold your napkin, and speak in a very measured voice. I said, where are your manners, you old fart? Your daughter invites you to dinner, and you have got nothing better to do than spit on the floor like we're in some kind of pigsty. I knocked my water over. I don't know if you heard that. I gesture a lot when I read, so my hand whacked that. Whoops. The old man's jaw drops, and the sticky, chewing tobacco drips off his lips. The milky eyes seem to want to challenge you. Punulugu Maglanaf, he hisses towards you. Pluglufalu what? What a jerk. He heaves himself out of the wheelchair. You're surprised by the speed. With a loud clank, he crashes, belly first on the table. You can only assume that he wanted to walk up to you, to confront you, but his legs wouldn't let him. You're not sure whether to pity or fear him. Then he starts dragging himself over the table, just by the strength of his arms. Like a geriatric seal from hell, the carefully placed cutlery and the wine crash on the floor. Okay, if he's moving fast, that would actually be very scary. We heard it. Great. Good to know. Do you or anyone else here read/play a lot of Lovecraftian things? I genuinely love giant monster horror media, but for some reason it's hard to find. Like, I don't just want a big animal. Ooh, I have not played a lot of Lovecraft before. This is kind of my first foray into anything Lovecraftian, and it's a very silly version, but I know some people in chat do. So, if they got any suggestions, they might be able to throw some at you. Maybe don't get on his bad side. But Jody, we're already committed to his bad side. Oh look, it looks like he's gonna grab us. He approaches you. Fight back, ask Dahlia, what help is she gonna offer? Jebediah's almost crossed the table now, and you're pretty sure that the old man has now completely lost his marbles. Presumably there weren't that many there to begin with. You defend yourself with cutlery, the plate. One of these is sharper. You quickly grab the cutlery next to your plate and start waving it in front of his face in a manner you hope is going to instill fear in your enemy. But Jebediah seems unimpressed, or simply not acquainted to the concept of sharp blades. Despite you wielding your knife right in front of his face, he still keeps approaching you. He asked for it. Trying to stab his hand. Trying to stab his face. Oh, these situations escalate so quickly. Let's go for the hand, I guess. I don't know if we want to jump straight to murder. I feel like it's gonna be harder to hit the hand than the face, though. Wait, we're gonna beat up an old man? Or we're gonna get beat up by an old man? Freddy, we're not gonna get beat up by an old man. We're going to do the beating. Which, trust me, is better. Isn't that better? That's the better option. In order to not seriously injure him, you go after Jebediah's hands. They're the closest to you anyway. You stab and pick at them to keep him at bay, but either the cutlery is blunt or the old man has very resistant skin. At that point, he manages to get a hold of your arm. Ruh-roh, Reggie. His dry claws dig themselves vice-like into your arm. A few moments ago, you still thought he'd struggle with opening a jar of pickles. You can smell his foul breath. Sock him, try and calm him. There's no calming him. You've asked for this! You growl and take a big swing at him. You manage to land a punch, but it seems that he can take quite a lot. It feels as if you're punching down onto a piece of driftwood. The crazed old man grips you harder and you start to panic. Oh, is he choking us? There's no way for you to escape the grip of the old man. He jerks you towards himself and closes his hands around your neck. From the corner of your eye, you can see Dahlia lights herself a cigarette. Told you she wouldn't help. With relish, she takes a deep drag and blows the smoke out of her delicate nose. Jebediah's empty eyes, like two inflamed marbles, are the last. See, I'm not the only one that makes errors, guys. We've encountered two since we started this. Are the last the thing you see before you lose consciousness. Strangled. You got strangled. It was only ever a matter of time. Yeah, with the way we talk to people. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner. Alright, friends. Actually, can we start at her house? Yeah, okay, so we don't have to do the whole arcade thing to get there. We can start here. Perfect. We'll walk in silence. Let's go! Enter. Hello, beautiful. I would indeed very much like to have a meal with you today. Oh my. Follow without delay. Well, what a splendid table. I shall take a seat. We'll decline again. We'll insist on declining. We'll just wait for food this time. We're going the non-rude route. We're going the non-talk yourself into someone strangling you to death route. I'm busy packing, but did that grandpa just kill us? Maybe, Lytle. Maybe he killed us. Who's to say? You didn't see it, so it might not have even happened. I'm told that's how things work. If you don't see it, it didn't happen. Silently, you look down at your empty plates. Dahlia looks annoyed and keeps checking the door. Now would be a good time to ask some questions. Questions. Why did you give me the wrong address? So many questions have been going around in your head ever since you've arrived, but now that you're face to face with your client, you don't know where to start. Something simple, perhaps, about the address. She says she's already forgotten. I do think we had this same dialogue in the doorway before. Yeah, good friend of mine, so that's what it was. I just couldn't remember. She smiled apologetically. Is the wine spiked? Did you spike the drink? You blurt out. Dahlia, who was just about to take a sip, starts coughing violently, and her usually composed face contorts into an ugly grimace. A drop of red wine slowly dribbles down her chin. You wait until she has recovered. Help her. We're gonna be helpful this time. We don't want to get murdered. Dahlia, oh no! You lose no time and hurry over to her. I'm here! Don't panic! You shout at her. Dahlia makes a strange waving movement. Her eyes are wide open. Is she welcoming your heroic intervention? What is Schrodinger's strangulation? The non-rude route. I like it. Yeah, don't get used to it, Pixar. At once you stand behind her. You place your arms around her stomach and press forcefully. She's choking on wine. They perform the Heimlich maneuver, but it doesn't seem to work. She's coughing even more now. Idiot! She manages to press out between coughs. She keeps waving, motioning for you to sit down. Oh my goodness, what happened to her? You stand behind her awkwardly. Sit back down. This is the opportunity to flee the scene. We just run away. You're about to sneak over to the closest door when you hear a metallic clinking sound. A metallic clinking sound that you're familiar with from movies. Movies with handguns! Hold it right there, a monotonous voice behind you says. The voice reminds you a little of Dahlia. Sit back down, flee the scene. Guys, if we flee, do you think we're gonna get shot? What's the chances, do you think? Give me your odds. Give me your guesses. Well, I don't know if I want to go down this fleeing route again. So we could try fleeing now and die by gunshot. Just to get that ending. You won't be thrown off by a threat like this and keep moving towards the door. You touch the doorknob and can't wait to leave this gosh-forsaken town and dangerous femme fatales behind you. You dream of Boston's North End and its endless string of delicious pasta places. You even begin to think fondly of some of the Somerville's dive bars. Okay, you've asked for it, the voice behind you says. The moment you turn the doorknob, a loud bang suddenly brings you back into the here and now. You lurch forward involuntarily and then sink back against the door. You slide down to the floor. When the shock subsides, a sudden pain in your chest takes your breath away. The strange pressure expands more, and you start to feel dizzy. Blackout. I'm sorry, does your character have no filter? Yes. Yes. Shot. You have been shot. Mind blown. I don't think they shot us in the head, though, because otherwise we would have blacked out immediately. She got a big iron. Skip. This time we'll actually sit through dinner. I promise. I promise we'll sit through dinner. Dinner sounds splendid. She's gonna be annoyed with us no matter what, so we might want to have the information from having looked around the room. I don't know if that'll affect anything. Again, insist, wait. So that went well. 2 deaths in a row. I told you, we're going for all of the options, which means we have to achieve all deaths. You gotta go all death run, you gotta go all everything run. It's like you just slowly gotta methodically, like, pick your way through the choices, the dialogue branches. It's the wine spiked. You look stunning tonight, yes. Just absolutely beautiful. Oh, I should have followed the spiked thing. Oh well, I'll do that another time. Mention your vegan lifestyle. You open your mouth, but just to check the planned course of action, your subconscious asks, do you really want to self-righteously educate this woman that you barely know about vegan nutrition? Can't you just say, I don't really like fish? Or maybe simply, don't eat the fish. The answer is, yes, dang it. Maybe not after all. I know, I like that. I was like, I'm gonna go non-rude run, and then immediately I pick a rude option. The last one was the non-rude run, and we got shot. For a different reason. Despite your subconscious trying to give you a helpful warning, you wave your hand and announce, oh, I'm vegan. I don't eat animal products. As you speak, Dahlia's lips stretch into an unimpressed line. Is all she says. Well done. The door leading to the living room opens and the maid returns. She's not alone, though, and pushes an old man in a wheelchair. Yes, we have met before. This time, fish is pretty tasty. Fish is delicious. I had some sushi yesterday with my dad. Awesome. Yummy. I love sushi. If you choose vegan, you can't eat chicken wings. I'm not vegan, Lytle. It's not me. It's this guy, this weird dude that's in the in-app debt that I just sometimes refer to as myself. We'll be quiet this time. We'll play nice. If this character was smart, they would have had a bulletproof vest. Yes, you should wear a bulletproof vest everywhere you go, always. You decide not to say anything and ride the whole thing out. Dahlia gestures towards the old man and says, "May I introduce my father, Jebediah Marsh?" He startles slightly, his tobacco lands on the carpet. "Introduce yourself. We won't accuse him of being disgusting this time in front of his face. Only in our minds. Time to be a shining example of courtesy and good manners. While you politely introduce yourself and are outlining the reasons for your visit to Innsmouth, Mr. March seems to be looking right through you. You'd be tempted to think that he's ignoring you, but perhaps he's just hard of hearing?" Dahlia clears her throat quietly. She adjusts the cutlery, can you tell I struggle with that word, on her plate, as if it had not been placed at the perfect angle in the first place. "Father is very weak. He rarely leaves the house. I take care of him best I can." Before even more depressing topics are being dished up, the swing door to the kitchen opens. The housemaid rushes out, balancing several trays in her spindly arms. Even before the door has swung shut again, she has managed to place all of them on the table. There it is, the main course, a fat, juicy fish on an elaborately prepared bed of salad. Its white, pupilless eyes stare into the void. The fish reminds you a lot of Jebediah. Oh! I don't love what that might be implying. If this character was smart, the game would be over in 15 minutes. I don't even know if it would take that long. It's kind of random that the main character is vegan. Well, I don't even know if the main character is vegan or if you just randomly get options to start lecturing people about veganism, because it's come up a couple different times in the game. But have they eaten meat before? Or I don't know, maybe they are. Maybe they're straight vegan and I'm just, yeah, I don't know. On the other trays, there are bowls of vegetables, turnips, potatoes, and a gray-green mass, which you hope is spinach. Different kind of gravy. This is a good traditional fare. The smell of it all makes you realize how hungry you are. Dahlia assembles food on her own plate, and the maid fills Jebediah's. Dig in. Participate in the meal. Decline politely. Well, we didn't drink the wine. I think the goal here was to not ingest anything. Lecturing someone about veganism definitely won't piss them off. Yeah, everybody loves a good lecture about why the lifestyle you live is the same one everyone should live. Don't they all just love that? Isn't that everyone's favorite thing? I'm no longer hungry, but thanks, you say, slightly pointedly. Dahlia gives you that frosty smile that you've come to love. Deliberately, slowly, she cuts off a piece of fish and then lifts her fork to her lips. She nibbles the fish off the bone and spits the rest out on the table. For some twisted reason. What? Okay. Apparently that turns our character on. Until today, you hadn't been aware of how sexy chewed up fish could be. What? What is happening? Dahlia seems blissfully unaware of the fact that you're watching her. After finishing about half of her plate, she puts down knife and fork and dabs her lips with a napkin. Where's this going? Yeah, Freddy, that's my reaction too. Sorry, what? No, I did not think that was... Why is this going here? Seductively eating fish. Old Jebediah is being fed by the maid. She carefully cuts up the fish and lifts the fork up to his lips. It is a strange spectacle to see how the young woman feeds the wrinkly man like a bird feeding her chick. Dahlia's voice brings you back into the moment. What am I supposed to do with you? What do you mean? Let me go? Love me? Riz? You ask? Dahlia giggles, then claps her hands on her mouth. A grunt from the side of the table reveals that Jebediah disapproves of the direction the conversation is taking. The maid returns the bits of vegetable he had spit out in annoyance back into his mouth. I'm afraid that won't be possible, Dahlia replies. Dahlia sighs. All you were supposed to do was walk through town for a little while, spend a bit of your allowance, and then be captured by one of those idiots in town. She looks at you coldly. But you're not even good enough for that. You make everything so much more complicated than it needs to be. Before you can respond, Dahlia continues,
There are exactly 2 ways this dinner can end for you.
I'm surprised they invited us to dinner at all, to be honest. Why wouldn't you just straight up murder us? Your mouth goes dry. You can't believe what you're seeing. Dahlia's hand, which had only briefly vanished under the table, is now holding a handgun. Either, she points the gun at you drink this damn wine. Your heart is fluttering dangerously fast as the maid suddenly appears right beside you with another glass full of wine. You're still waiting to hear about the other option.
Or, we'll have to resort to far less civilized measures in order for you to close your eyes. We need to move on to the highlight of the evening, you see.
She pulls the trigger. I still don't quite understand. Screw you. Drink the wine. Remember, this game is just D&D. Either you rolled a 1 or she rolled a 20. This is gonna be the beach thing all over again. I don't think it is gonna be the beach thing, Freddy, because in the beach one, the fish was rizzing us, not us doing the rizzing.
I still don't quite understand. Sounds like we're gonna get shot. Screw you, sounds like we're gonna get shot. Maybe we drink the wine and then we pass out and probably end up tied to a post somewhere where we get burned alive.
Poison. Drugs.
What does it matter? There's a gun pointed at you and you could seriously be disfigured.
Okay, yeah, that's the concern. If you don't follow instructions now. Your hands shake as you lift the glass to your mouth. A chemical smell reaches your nostril even before one drop reaches your lips. You sip the wine, and a strong, tart taste settles over a harsh chemical flavor. At least they've given you a good vintage. Your head feels dizzy within seconds. You take another, bigger sip, and you feel worse immediately afterwards. As you try to put the glass back down on the table, the whole room suddenly flips 90 degrees. Your consciousness returns in surges. Each interval lasts a little longer and lets you absorb more of your surroundings. The freezing cold, the pain. You blink your eyes that feel crunchy and dry. Your first instinct is to rub your eyes and get some relief, but you can't move. The first thing you notice is the wooden planks in front of you. No, that's not right. Not in front of you. Above you. You realize that gravity is pushing you to the ground. You're lying on the floor, maybe in an attic. Also, dude, gravity is always pushing us on the ground. You gotta be more specific. Or a basement? It's hard to say. You lift your head to try and get a better sense of the situation. A circle of candles is placed around you. They are almost burnt to the ground, and their light flickers on the walls and the ceiling. Are we gonna meet Greg again? Who's Greg again? Remind me. Your arms and legs are stretched out in a sort of X shape. Dude, are we gonna get sacrificed alive? I mean, I say that, and we've already been sacrificed alive in a lot of different ways in this game. You try to move and get up, but no luck. There's a firm and scratchy resistance on your wrists and calves which forces you to stay in position. On top of it all, you're stark naked. Lovely. The only thing that still covers you is green paint. Your whole body seems to be splattered with green paint. Scratchy boards rub uncomfortably against your back, legs, and other parts of your body, which you usually keep at a safe distance from splintery wood. Whoever transported you did not take great care when placing you down. Your whole body feels like it's one big bruise. You've seen gagged and naked prisoners many times before in cheap thrillers and horror movies. The fact that this has now happened to you makes you laugh, makes you shout for help, makes you think, why is this an option? Okay, maybe we don't do every option. You're gonna get Rachel as a patron. Greg was the one with the knife who kindly talked to for too long and missed the time for the ritual. Oh, yeah. That guy. Yep. Yeah, maybe he will show up. We'll laugh. Ha ha ha. You laugh louder and more manically than you've ever laughed in your life. Your body spasms with laughter, so you almost forget the pain, the splinters of wood and sensitive areas of your body, and the many bruises that were plaguing you only a second ago. Shortly after, you calm down again. Take a breath. You'll get a great anecdote out of this if you manage to survive it. What now? Wiggle around a bit, examine the room more closely, wait, and gather some strength. Let's examine.
The candlelight is weak, and some candles have already blown out, their wicks sunken into the wax. After overcoming your initial confusion, you now manage to make out the windows, thin panels of glass covering the sloping roof. At the other end of the room, you can make out some square shapes, but that's about it. You lift your hand, but your view is very limited, and you can't make out much more. Alright, well, might as well try something. You trash? Did they mean thrash? Your arms and legs about. The ties are really very secure, and they scratch and dig into your skin. But what is it that you're tied to? In the flickering light of the candles, you follow the rope with your eyes. Camel. The rope that is wound around your right hand leads to a sturdy metal rod a few feet away. It is wound tightly around to a hook so that you can move your arms only minimally. Your arms and legs are spread out like a star, and all ties are secured to iron cuffs. Somebody knew what they were doing. I guess try and squeeze her hand through the ties. You don't give up. You try and pull your hand through the tie, carefully turn your wrists, trying again and again to see if tugging your hand might help free you, but to no avail. No matter how often and from which angle you try to free your hand from the restraint, the result remains the same. The thin, rough rope cuts deep into your wrist. It's simply too tight. You begin to get seriously worried that it'll cut off your blood flow for too long. That's when you finally give up. A throbbing feeling in your arm is all you get from this little experiment. Finally, you can make out some sounds from the lower floors. Clack, clack, clack. The sounds become more pronounced and are approaching you. The echoing, clacking sound is all too familiar to you. Your whole body tenses. You can hear Dahlia's heels. Thin, metallic sounds. The latch opens, then a rusty lock. The wooden door drags against the floorboards. The door opens and then swings shut again. Ooh, that's rough. Yeah. This feels like the same thing as the cage in the water, where it's like once you were placed in the cage, no matter what decision you picked, I'm pretty sure you would die. Like, I'll run through it again and like see if that is the case, but I am pretty sure that is just immediate death. And I think this is also one of those where it's like it doesn't matter which answers you pick, it's just going to be the same kind of death ending. Did somebody merely have a quick look into the room, or did they enter? You really don't like not knowing if there's someone else in the room with you. Oh, look who's up again, Dahlia's voice whispers sweetly. Frantically, you try to make out shapes in the shadows all around you, but there's only darkness. If only you stayed unconscious, that would have made things so much easier. Well, why didn't you do this faster then? I really wanted to save you the whole ordeal. Flirt. Make light of the situation. Ask for mercy. Flirting might be our way out, guys. Flirting might be the way. If you wanted to tie me up naked, I would have preferred a comfortable bed, my dearest. You say as sensuously as you can, given the circumstances. At first, she doesn't respond. You become a bit insecure. Finally, you hear her voice. What? Is this Believe me, please. I really would have loved that so much. Why would... Because I'm pretty sure she's being sarcastic. Well, I'm free for the night. Dahlia giggles. You're unbelievable. She looks away from you and calmly looks at the dagger in her hand. Okay, this is going well. We succeeded at the Riz? That's what I'm wondering, because I feel like she's the kind of person... Okay, she's gonna be like unbelievably foolish or something, right? She's gonna be like, you're unbelievably stupid for believing me when I said that. Dashing? Yes, you keep surprising me. Do I mean nothing to you? Wait. I feel like the answer to this is yes. But it does it not feel like we were making some mild progress, guys? Isn't that what it feels like? I don't know if we should shut up now or if we should keep pressing. But it does seem like is she actually into it? Do I mean nothing to you? You whisper with a hint of accusation. She tilts her head. No, she replies with a slightly wrinkled forehead, obviously a little surprised herself at how easy this question is to answer. No, not really. Oopsie daisy. Dang it! We should have been quiet! You're getting more and more desperate. Are you gonna kill me now? With this dagger? Once again, the cold steel gently strokes your cheek. That's right. Got a problem with that? Well, to be honest, I do! She grasps the dagger with both hands and holds it over you. You watch as the hairs on her arms stand up as she begins to speak. Oh, Dagon, in my name and in the name of my ancestors, take this sacrifice. She lifts her arms and emits a scream that lets your blood curdle. She rams the knife into your chest, and it glides almost silently through skin, flesh, and bones. An unknown world of pain overwhelms you. You try to breathe, to speak, but every little movement is punished by microscopic pinpricks. Ah! Your body starts to burn. It may be your sense of panic fooling you, but you're pretty sure that the green runes on your body are now beginning to glow slightly. You should consider yourself lucky, whispers Dahlia hoarsely. With her free hand, she moves a strand of hair from her face. Your death will bring our family another period of happiness and prosperity. You are of some use to somebody, after all. She pulls the blade from your chest with a jerk. The pain is unbearable. And then it stops. Bum 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 bum, Black Widow. Dahlia Marsh set you up, you damn tool. I can fix her. Okay, I actually wonder if we were... Real quick, guys. I want to see... Skip. Let's go. It's me, Mario. West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Let's go to dinner. And that's why I don't date, because all dates will end in a ritual sacrifice to some weird horror deity. We will just take the wine right off the bat, I think. You squint at the bottle. That vintage is fewer than 8 years old. You should let the wine breathe for at least 30 minutes, if not 45. Dahlia's right eyelid starts twitching. Of course! You're right! I don't know what's up with me today. She puts the bottle down more forcefully than perhaps necessary and sits down. Silently, you look down at your empty plates. Is the wine spiked? Wait until she recovers. Spiked? She purrs quietly and pointedly takes another sip from her glass to demonstrate what she thinks of your question. She licks her lips provocatively. Who do you take me for? I take you for a criminal who spikes drinks. How about we swap glasses? How did you get into this mess exactly? Oh, it's glitch. It's a long story. Missing child, found, inaccurate information, confronted mother, had dinner with her, got ritually sacrificed. I think that sums it up. Yeah, that's the connection of events. Neither of these options are good. Yeah, neither of them are gonna get us somewhere good. How about we swap glasses? Dahlia's careful facade crumbles. Her derisive smile falters and a deep line appears on her forehead, which she must have kept in check so far with a lot of makeup. She considers her glass for a moment and caresses its rim with one finger. Why? She stops for a deep sigh. Why do you have to make everything so damn difficult? There's accusation in her eyes, which makes you feel as if you were a kid's magician who had just ruined her daughter's birthday party. No other detective has managed to get this far into my own house. Dahlia takes another sip from her glass. You damn bastard. Is that a no? Oh, is that the time? Shall we go? Oh, just a regular Friday. Is that a no, you ask? Dahlia's hostile reaction now completely confirms to you that the drink is spiked. Whether roofies or poison does not matter to you, you refuse to yield. You pour the wine onto the floor, and don't let your hostess out of sight while doing it. She purses her lips. She puts down the glass with a deep sigh and starts to massage her temples. Of course the wine is spiked, you moron. The rim of your glass, actually. Before you can register any complaint, she continues. Dahlia sighs. All you were supposed to do was walk through town a little while, but you're not even good for that. You make it so complicated. Goodness, is that the time? You get up from your chair and move the wine glass a little further away from you. Yeah, now that you've already dumped it out. You don't even want to know whether the wine is spiked or not. We already know. You're done with this evening. I forgot that I need to give my pet hamster a call. I think he's gonna be worried about me. Your knees shake as you get up. You're relieved you've made this small but crucial step. Now it's the Princess Bride scene. Which one is the Sicilian? You're about to sneak over to the closest door when you hear a metallic clicking sound. Hold it right there, a monotonous voice behind you says. The voice reminds you a little of Dahlia. Well, we already know what happens if we flee, and we were kind of intending to walk back into this other scene and see if we could actually riz her. You turn around slowly, careful not to make any rash movements. Hey, calm down, you murmur and go back to your seat. The door to the living room opens and the maid enters, but this time she's not alone. She's pushing an old man. Dahlia and the maid exchange glances. Dahlia nods briefly. This is Dahlia's grandfather. Oh, whoops. I shouldn't have skipped that. I don't know why I was like, oh, we kind of have read this. Something got pressed against us, and we're tied up again, fellas. Ladies and gents. No! Oh my gosh, I did not mean to... Oh no, I did not. No, it's not. No, I was just clicking. Oh my word. No, don't smile about this. I'm not reading that. Okay. Look who's up again, she whispers sweetly. Awake and ready for the next step. Why? No, it unlocked new dialogue. Oh no. Oh no. I'm sorry, it's glitch. I was probably really loud when I reacted to that. Oh no. It completely changed the dialogue. I don't know. Freddie, I don't know. Your words fade into the dark. You worry that this is perhaps a bit too coquettish when Dahlia's melodic voice responds. It's perhaps slightly less melodic than before, and a tad confused. Are you being serious? At last, she steps out of the shadows to your right. You lift your neck to see her better. The Dahlia you've come to know as so calm, cool, and calculating currently appears to be a nervous wreck. She is constantly moving and also playing with something metallic and shiny in her hands. A knife. Hot. She's probably going to cut your ties with it, so you can finally get to the main part of this little game. Dahlia strikes you as the kind of woman who needs a little danger in her life. Now it's the beach thing. Yes, Freddie? Yes, now it is. Accidentally. You encourage her. Why though? You make it look sensual. I'm so glad my family doesn't watch this channel. I don't know. I feel like there is a way out of this while flirting. Sarah, both of these are committing. The question is, which one is actually gonna maybe rizz her? Is encouraging rizzing? Is sensual writhing rizzing? I think the other one probably would have helped more. Oh no, here I am, completely helpless. You start acting out badly. What are you going to do? Dahlia is pacing around the circle of candles. She reminds you a bit of a predator circling an antelope on the riverbank. Well, if you must know, I will drive this dagger into your heart and sacrifice your body and soul to the mighty Dagon. She makes a dramatic pause. Eternal damnation for you, blessing and prosperity for me and my family. Her fingertips gently touch the blade of the dagger. You find her response oddly specific. Dahlia must have invested a lot of time in the small details. She's even learned a small plot by heart. You mustn't ruin it for her. Kill me. Yeah, I definitely chose the one that's gonna get us for sure killed. Ristacular. Can we Discord scribe to add some of this to the wiki? Why, Lytle, why? Kill me if you dare, sweetheart, you say, because frankly, when will you ever get a chance like that again? Did I mean nothing to you? You whisper with a hint of accusation. Alright, yeah. We've made it to the murder. I do feel like there's gotta be a dialogue option where we don't die there. And I want to find it. Time to skip. 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 Well, let's pretend that never happened. Don't misclick this time. I won't. I always put it towards the bottom when I start clicking, and I need to not do that, so I don't randomly accidentally start clicking options. Take a seat. Let's decline, and then we'll say, yeah, we love fish. Fish is delicious. We love eating it. It's our favorite food in the world. Wait for food. The noises are silly, aren't they? You look stunning tonight. We should riz her early. Compliment the fish. I think this will really, you know, put us in position. I'm sure this has an effect on her murdering us. Pushes an old man in a wheelchair. Silence. Introduce yourself. She takes care of him. The housemaid rushes out. The fish reminds you a lot of Jebediah. Dahlia assembles the food on her plate. The male fish Jebediahs participate in the meal. The mood at the table is terribly tense, but perhaps this will be easier to bear once you've had some food. The fish is already pre-cut into portions, and one of them is now on your plate, along with some greens, turnips, and potatoes, notwithstanding the grayish tint that by now you've become to expect from all things Innsmouth. The food smells delicious. Very delicious. I love how many times it gives you an option to decline eating the food. The turnips are delicious. Crisp and fresh and slightly buttery. Oh, have you guys ever seen that one girl's shorts? How she describes food. Crisp and fresh and slightly buttery. You don't want to swallow the first bite. It's that perfect. The fish is next and is too delightful. Only slightly salty with a hint of unfamiliar herbs and lemon. It doesn't take you long to finish off your plate, and you even have seconds. You don't remember when you last had such an excellent meal in such classy surroundings. Dahlia gives you that frosty smile that you've come to love deliberately, slowly. She cuts off a piece of her fish, and you, feel a certain way about it. Until today, you hadn't been aware of how attractive that could be. She carefully cuts up the fish, the dad eats it. Love me? Should we go with the rizzing again? Should we still try it? I don't know the girl, but that sounds funny. Yeah, there's this girl who it's like everything that I ate in a day, and like how she describes stuff is usually like, it was so crispy, but gooey and warm. And like, that kind of thing. Yeah, we'll continue with the riz. Dahlia giggles, clearly, obviously attracted to us, I'm sure. Yeah, no, she's totally into this. The gun, that's just, That's just, you know, like a little fun game. Just a thing. That's her way of rizzing. Alright. Yada yada yada. We're not going with the arousal. Makes you think. You decide to just lie there for a while and consider the whole thing rationally. You're still not entirely clear on how you ended up here or why, but you've got a suspicion. Inevitably, you reflect on your life, ups and downs, as well as all the decisions that ultimately led you to this point. Bound and humiliated. It's enough to make you weep. Your eyes fill with tears. She's not going to be attracted to that guy. And soon, they flow freely down onto your ears. A soft whimper escapes your throat. Take a breath. This will just be a great anecdote. Out of this, if you manage to survive. Yeah. What now? Wiggle about, examine the room, wait and gather strength. Finally, you can make out some sounds. Echoing. Silence. Look who's up. Flirt. I'm free tonight. Dashing. We'll go with dashing because she seemed to take that favorably. You decide not to be intimidated and put on the best poker face one could muster when naked and tied up on the floor. Let's hope that your naked body will not betray your anxiety in one way or another. Dahlia has gotten a little closer to you and is looking at you as if you were a potential new rug. Uh-oh. I'm starting to think there might not be a dialogue option that gets us out of this situation. Lumeria! Hey, it's late. We riz any new fish people? I don't know if she's a fish person. We've been attempting to riz somebody, though. The goofy little girl, yeah, is in her room. Are you cold? She asks with a flirtatious smile. Oh, dang it. Her fingers caress the handle of a bladed knife. Even from your awkward position, you can see she is smiling. Well, at least one person's having fun. Bargain? Whatever you're planning, you say with as much confidence as you can fake. Make it quick, will you? Explain what's going on here. How are either of these a bargain? Classic. Delaying the inevitable just a little by asking the villain to explain their plan. Hopefully Dahlia isn't too familiar with these cliches. Dahlia's fingertips impatiently stroke the handle and blade of her dagger, her face reflecting the conflict that must be going on inside her. She points the gun down at you and relaxes a little. I thought she had a knife, not a gun. Is that a misclick? If you can't riz her, it's fine. There's plenty of fish in the sea. The literal sea in this case. She points the gun down and relaxes a little. Fine, I guess I owe that to you. Ooh, guys, maybe it's gonna be just like with Greg, where she talks so long that her time for sacrifice runs out. You listen intently to the measured clicking sound from her heels. She moves through the room like a cat, elegantly, but with malicious intent, while continuing to talk quietly. You're an exception, you know. Usually, all this works very differently. All this differently? Exception? She gives you a smile, fingers still clutching the dagger. To make it brief, yes, we do lure people here to Innsmouth to sacrifice them to Dagon, ruler of the ocean. To be more precise, it is just me and a handful of other inhabitants whom are still able to mingle among the other people without raising suspicion. Many here suffer from what we call the Innsmouth look. Dahlia points to her neck. Gills, changes of the eye shape, dandruff, hair loss, to only name the common effects. And you don't really want to know what's happening downstairs. She laughs softly. Your blood curdles. Downstairs? And this weekend, the sacrifices are of special significance. The stars, she points the dagger towards the ceiling to illustrate her point, are in a unique constellation. You could say that every family, even the rabble of the city, is trying to make a sacrifice today. You can't imagine how surprised and delighted I was when you showed up on my doorstep. We had assumed you'd be wasted as, she twists her mouth in disgust, a community sacrifice. This explanation brings up more questions than it answers. Yeah, but why me? Just to clarify the downstairs bit, we don't need to be bothering in their business. Okay, but why is she kinda... Okay, guys, hear me out. Well, this is the only fish that has responded positively to our riz attempts. Not true, there was the one on the beach that's actually a fish. Why me, of all people? You ask desperately. You may not be the best kind of human, but neither are you the most depraved specimen of your species. It's really nothing personal. Dahlia raises her hand soothingly, which, given the dagger in her hands, is more threatening than reassuring. It's just that we prefer to bring people here who nobody will miss that quickly. This works by specifically selecting fringe professions, such as private investigators, especially those whose business, if you don't mind my saying, isn't going that well. There's your answer. You're a loser that no one will miss, and all you're good for is to be sacrificed to a cult in a Hicksville coastal town. Dahlia looks down on you pitifully. Her grip around the dagger is now visibly tighter. She's preparing for what she's about to do.
Appeal to her conscience. Do I mean nothing to you? Make it quick, will you? Ah. I don't know what the right answer is, guys. I feel like there has to be a way out of this, is the thing. Like, there's a dialogue branch here where we don't end up dying. Maybe we end up with a wife and child. I don't know. Could go anywhere. Nope. Oh, that was the wrong choice. I shouldn't have known it. I should have known it. But what the other ones also sucked. Yeah, that's the thing, Freddy, is like, I feel like this is the one that we kind of haven't vaguely tried. Oh, please, please, no.
Dahlia's mouth twists in disgust, as if he were a cockroach she discovered in her salad. Playfully, she balances the knife on her index finger. You think you can detect a certain curiosity in her expression. You've got a daughter. What would the girl think if she knew about this? That her mother was a murderer? A smirk. Not the reaction that you had hoped for. My daughter is the reason I do all this. For my family. One day my daughter will be here in my place. One day she will be wielding this dagger. You're getting more and more desperate. Are you gonna kill me now? With this dagger? Once again, the cold steel gently strokes your cheek. That's right. Got a problem with that?
Well, too late. Yep. I feel like we keep getting closer to... There's gotta be an out. There's gotta be. Is there gonna be a follow-up to either of those? Either of what, Lytle? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna try this one more time. We're gonna try one more time to get this a non-death ending here. And then we'll move on to something else, especially because we'll only have like an hour left max at that point. She is a really tough cookie to break. I mean, we also play a very unattractive character. Jody and Freddy's chats both are open-ended. Okay, but well, she's kinda... Okay, guys, hear me out. Gotcha. Walk consent, blah, 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 blah. Let's go. There's also an option that we'll do after this one, whether we succeed or fail, where we still kind of follow this path, but we just leave instead of going into the house. We'll try that one out as well. I'm assuming it'll just bring us straight to like the city story again, where they like the people try and find you and kill you. I think based on where we want to get at this point, the options here don't matter stunningly, but I'm just gonna pick all the rizzing options. Silence. Do, 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 It's for the viewer's interpretation to figure out what potentially could have said. Also, it's Christmas Eve for me. I just realized, Jody, happy Christmas Eve! Okay, so, guys, hear me out. I don't like this option, but it did give us different dialogue choices, as opposed to, like, these ones are all gonna lead to the same dialogue choices. And I'm thinking, maybe she was into it. So I'm not gonna read whatever this is about, you know, all that, but I feel like it might be, it might be the step. Take me with you. This one went okay last time. So, let's see if that's one. Ride around. I don't like that. Okay, Dahlia lets the hand with the knife sink slowly, her face insecure. Why are we purring? I'm not gonna read some of this.
Well, let's go without gut. Maybe not best to say. What are you doing? Keep writhing sensually. Explain yourself. Oh, man, guys. Should've just kept writhing. Your arms and legs go limp. I thought I'd spice up our little game a little. I won't have these ridiculous poses. This is a serious moment. This is a serious moment, Dahlia replies through clenched teeth. The contempt in her eyes robs you of any motivation to keep playing along. Alright, that doesn't work. You simply lie there now. The room seems to have become a little colder, but maybe this is simply due to Dahlia's icy presence. With as much grace as she can muster given her nervousness, Dahlia sits down next to you among the candles. She grasps the dagger with both hands and holds it over you.
Yep, no, we just got straight to sacrifice there. Oof. Oof, that was an even faster speed run. Same, Jody. I also did not think this is how this game would end up. Yeah, he's definitely a weird dude. Alright, I did say we would move on after that point. I won't waste our time any longer. So we are going to say goodbye here. You kneel down and look directly into her eyes. Listen, little one, I've done my duty, but I've forgotten something very important at home, which is why I have no time to meet your mother. She looks at you intrigued. Please tell her I'll be sending an invoice. Please don't tell her I was here. Please tell her I'll be sending an invoice. You've never seen a 10-year-old girl frown skeptically before, but there's a first time for everything. Eventually, she shrugs and awkwardly looks down at the doormat. There's nothing else to say here. There are sounds from the house, like someone putting down cutlery, which rattle the two of you out of your uncomfortable silence. Without another word, Evelyn rushes into the house. You can hear sounds of creaking wood and muffled voices from inside the house. You are certain you can make out the voice of Dahlia Marsh. You wonder what to do now. Go through the evidence, leave. You've decided not to confront Dahlia directly. Yesterday, you would not have believed that only the next day you'd be sneaking around her front yard. Despite your fond memories of your first encounter, you've got a bad feeling in the pit of your stomach. In your mind, you go through all the evidence which indicate that Dahlia might be involved in dodgy business. The wrong address she gave you, the wrong name Tabitha that she gave you, almost as if you weren't really supposed to find her daughter. Where does that address lead to? It stands to reason that Dahlia is engaged in some sort of criminal activity. You're not sure yet what exactly, but there are enough red flags for you to consider calling the FBI. Yeah, this is how we're gonna encounter the people again. You brought the girl home safe. Dang it, you can even testify to her entering the house. This case is closed. All the other unanswered questions are, frankly, no longer your problem. As you walk across the front yard to the big gate, pebbles crunching underfoot, you turn around one last time. The lights are on in several of the upstairs and downstairs rooms of the house. You can't help but wonder what meeting Dahlia Marsh again would have been like. You don't want to know. At the same time, you're kind of glad it didn't happen. It's early evening. You wonder where to go now. Leave town? To the hotel. Well, to the hotel we know what happens. You wander the streets. The dark clouds spread from the sea. They reach for you. The sun is set. The temperature is dropping fast. The air, too, gets cooler. And a rough wind whips through the alleys. You're lost. You have no idea how to get out of this gosh-forsaken town, and as if that weren't bad enough, you also underestimated the September weather on the coast. And the real cold temperature is yet to still come. Scattered raindrops do not bode well. You aimlessly wander the streets. The narrow alleys are a labyrinth of simple wooden fishermen's huts. At least you're not completely on your own. Look at that. Even at this late hour, there are groups of people out patrolling. Torches and pitchforks, knives and nets. Yeah, we get rejected a lot. we mostly just get rejected. I can't blame them. Stay in the shadows. I think that's the same one we did last time, too. You wonder what to do next. Keep moving through town, knock on a door and ask for help.
Maybe not all the people here are cranky, cold-hearted hicks. Maybe someone will let you spend the night in their house if you just ask politely. Maybe pigs can fly. The opposite was never proven anyway. The idea of spending the night in the warmth and leaving Innsmouth early tomorrow morning fills you with new hope. Your hand glides over your wrinkled trench coat, which really needs to be ironed. You're a freelance, so you have enough experience with looking pitiable. You've got a good feeling about this. Since all wooden huts look similarly run down, you simply knock on the next best door in order to escape the rain. The patter of the ever-increasing rain is the only thing you can hear. No steps, no metallic clinking of keys, and no good Samaritan to let you into their house at this dark hour. No one seems to be in. Break down the door. Try another door. Well, when in doubt, robbery or breaking and entering, that's the answer. Throwing your already sparse manners overboard, you lean against the door to see if it opens. The whole facade seems to creak slightly, when the door does not give way. You stop the break-in attempt before any of the neighbors call the police. There's another just over there. Again, you try your luck and knock 3 times quickly. Again, no one lets you in. The difference is that, this time, you hear the rustling sound of curtains in the window next to the door, and the curtain sways slightly back and forth until it comes to rest. There is someone! Try to provoke a reaction. Keep moving through town. Let's provoke a reaction. I've seen pigs fly totally. Whoa, that's impressive, Pixar. I hope you documented it. That's a good philosophy to follow. Leaning your arms against the wooden planks, you try to take a look inside, but it's too dark to see anything or anyone. This is exactly the kind of cowardly attitude that has led this town to poverty and ruin, you hiss at the curtains, because somebody must be listening. Good deeds are what separates everyday heroes from common peasants. Good deeds, like giving shelter to poor private detectives on rainy nights. You can't be sure what the occupant of this house has heard, even one word of what you just said. Still, you feel a little better now. A creaking sound behind you makes you freeze. The door, right behind you! An old woman is peering out of the house in front of you, in front of which you were shouting. She's cracked open the front and examines you through round spectacles. She reminds you of an insect. Her voice is rough as sandpaper. Oh, she looks pretty human. What do you want? I need a place to stay for the night. Can I use your phone? You have beautiful eyes. You let your charm work its magic. She seemed to respond very positively to that. You have beautiful eyes, you say to the old woman and wink at her. The old woman squeaks in delight. She essentially runs her hand with its parchment-like skin over the wooden door frame. Oh, you little rascal! The door opens a little more. Now we have D&D main character syndrome, where you expect people to let you sleep in their house for no reason. I mean, isn't that just a common? People don't do that, you're saying? It's not a normal thing in everyday life? The door opens a little more. With a mixture of fascination and horror, you realize that all of this is actually happening. The white-haired woman keeps stroking the door frame. She wants to hear more. That much is clear. Why, certainly. Are you going to keep flirting with the old lady so she'll let you stay somewhere warm? Why would you ever think we would do anything otherwise? This is horrific. True. It is. Of course, you put everything in the balance when it comes to surviving this ghastly night in a potentially dangerous town. This is really not where I saw this alternative path leading us. How's it going? You add. The woman giggles like a teenager and purposefully takes a step to the side and motions for you to enter. You try to make out a detail about, I hate how she's moving her hands, about the inside of the dark house. Candles are lined up on shelves on a small side table. A lot of them are almost burned down. At least they keep you from running into the furniture. The old woman drags you by your wrist into a small room, which probably holds the guest bed. Victory, we finally are succeeding with the Riz, guys. Oh, the guest room is also lit by nothing other than candles. It looks far more inviting than the rest of the house. This is probably due to the light-colored wallpaper which is covering the rotted wood. The white-haired lady has already sat down on the bed. She wants you to keep her company. Okay, there's gotta be a line somewhere. There's gotta be a line.
I think at some point we gotta try breaking the addiction. We're already in the house. She's an old lady. She's probably not as strong as that old man who strangled us. She's not gonna kick us out. So we can just politely back out now.
Oh, no, you rushed right back outside. Dang it. Please, Ron. I want you to at least stay the night. I changed my mind, you mutter and rush back outside. You're back in the dark alley where you started, but at least you can proudly claim to have held at least a shred of dignity. Rain pours down your neck, but you'd rather take the cold and the goosebumps. Please, Ron. Maybe this was a mistake. Alright, do we get demonetized or traumatized? Yeah. I feel like I'm the kind of rizzer, which is like, I'm gonna riz and riz and riz, and then as soon as it starts to get a little too serious, I'm like, actually, never mind. I didn't think we'd make it this far. I didn't think we'd get to this point. One alley follows the next, the ground is muddy, you're in Old Town. Yep, the patrol, so we're back in this one again. It'll be alright. The people of Innsmouth sometimes behave a bit strangely, you admit, but they behave strangely. Have you seen how you behave? There's no reason to become a paranoid oddball, too. Without a disguise, but with a winning smile, you walk up to a small group of townfolk. And riz and riz and riz. Afraid of commitment, I see. I'm afraid so, Sarah, I'm afraid so. There, they scream. They start chanting. Yep, and they're gonna tie me up to a flaming post. Okay. So we've read this. Cry for help. Awake already. Enjoyed it. I love it here. I hate all of you. Meh. I can't remember what we picked last time, but this is the most outrageous. Enjoyed it? I love it here! You shout enthusiastically. The man blinks. What? But why? Yes, why precisely? The fresh air! The nice people! The nice people, you answer. The nice people with their sad faces, hunchbacks, and physical deformities. The people who give you the creeps as they continue to watch you silently. There's anonymity in Boston. A person next to you on the green line could be on fire and you wouldn't pay them any attention. Damn, the man whistles as if impressed. You are a tough guy, I'll give you that. I wonder how long that will last when you're on fire. Fire? Before you can ask for a more detailed explanation, you're grabbed by the arms. Some fishermen have silently approached you without you noticing. I wonder what would happen if you just asked for shelter from the lady instead of all that. I didn't think she would take the flirting so seriously. But yes, we can attempt that in the next run after we get burned alive here, as we do need to get this death to do our completionist run. And I lived last time, so it's time for death now. Yeah. What is this all about? Help! Try to loosen the shackles. What is this all about? The situation is so bizarre. Is this really a stake? Do these people really want to set you on fire? You're certain they have not met any of these horror figures today. Finally, about time, someone shouts, annoyed, and drowns out all the other conversation taking place in the town square. Looks like someone finally managed to light a torch. Solemnly, the men march towards you, and in awe, the other villagers make way for them. Not everyone in Innsmouth can light a fire. Two of the men remain with other spectators, and the torchbearer continues alone until he stands before you at the stake. He turns his back on you and begins to speak to the eclectic audience. Brothers and sisters. Yes, Abraham, several people respond, which says a lot about this gene pool. Quiet, I mean everyone present. Yeah, he's gonna do the whole thing. The hour approaches, baffled looks. Cry out for help, remain silent. We're gonna remain silent this time. This whole thing is rather unpleasant. Sure, these degenerates want to set you on fire and sacrifice you to some god, but the point is they picked you for it. Out of all the travelers in this town, they chose you. For example, this guy who was constantly shuffling white french fries into his mouth, they didn't pick him. Or the blonde hipster who has the nerve to take selfies of himself at the stake with yours truly on it. They didn't pick him either. All these tourists were carefully considered, and only you were found to be worthy enough for the stake. You know what would have happened to Bree getting traumatized and us too. No. Fulcrum was saying if we hadn't flirted, so she wasn't expecting anything saucy to happen. Like if we had just asked, hi, can I stay the night? And she went, oh, sure, dearie, here's a bed I have, and I'm gonna go to sleep upstairs. The tourists mingle with the people, but the atmosphere remains stiff and awkward. The villagers once again prove to be lousy hosts. The tourists soon move on to the next attraction of the Innsmouth nightlife. Abraham, the torchbearer, hems and haws for a few minutes until all tourists have left the town square. Thanks, he mumbles sheepishly with a side glance in your direction. That was, really decent of you not to make any trouble. Don't worry about it. Could you possibly not set me on fire for that? I think the stream might have experienced a little lag, Jody. Yeah. I'm wondering why, because it says the connection is good. So that concerns me a little. I hope that it's decently up to speed now. Yeah, you might need to try reloading and see if that'll kind of put it back on track. Never mind, you say, bored. You've said goodbye to life, and the last thing you want to do is see your last moments on Earth are tourists. Wretched tourists. Any last words? Abraham asks. 9/11 was an inside job! I love pineapple on my pizza. I regret nothing! Some villagers give you a round of applause, but the majority of the audience stands there awkwardly. Abraham just shrugs. Then he puts the burning torch on the wood. With a crackling sound, the fire consumes the first dry branches. The sight of spreading flames makes you panic, brings you inner peace. All good choices. Okay, yeah, so it's good after you refresh. Okay, good to hear. Oh, fire! The naughty rebel among the four elements. The slowly approaching flames take you back to your childhood. Evenings under the stars, which you've watched on the TV. Oh, television. It doesn't take long for the whole pile of wood to be on fire. The heat is unbearable. Your skin hurts so much that you almost lose consciousness, but no such luck. Only when all your clothes are singed and blisters form your cheeks does your circulatory system finally collapse. At the stake. Hey, no, go down. I clicked too fast. I want to read at the stake. Go away. Okay, well, we burned. There's the point. Actually, do you like pineapple on pizza, Brie? I have never tried pineapple on pizza. Personally, it doesn't sound like something I would enjoy. But you never know. I'm sure there's probably a point where we could start closer to the thing, but alas. We're gonna leave town. Dun 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 dun. Stay in the shadows, knock on doors. Try another door. Try to provoke a reaction. I need a place to stay for the night. You say honestly. She licks her lips. Was it you who was just ranting out there? Deny it. Confess. That's nice, Lemuria. It's good that, I mean, someone's got to enjoy it, you know. I've never tried it, I can't judge. It doesn't sound appealing to me personally, though. Deny. Suddenly you feel sorry about your outburst. Must have been the impatient, easily irritable metropolitan in you. That was another guy. He ran down that way. You lamely point down the alley, not sure if the woman will buy your story. The old woman purses her lips. To your surprise, she opens the door a little further and waves you in. Fine. Gratefully, you step into the apartment. You try to make out the details of the inside of the dark old house. Candles are lined up on the shelves and small side tables, a lot of them almost burning. The woman is probably blind, and that's why she doesn't need lighting in her own home. Only with a lot of effort can you make out the contours of the narrow doors that line the walls of the room? Whoever is responsible for the design of this hut has obviously tried to squeeze as much as possible to the very limited space.
I have a guest bed available. You can have it if you help me with the gardening, sweetie.
I don't want to bother you. A quick phone call would do. Agree. Decline. Might as well. All she needs is a little help with the gardening. See, and now we're getting the answer that was asked earlier. If you avoid the Riz, she just invites you in a little bit irritated about your presence. Just gonna guess that you're gonna be sacrificed by this old lady now. Probably. But it might be a different kind of sacrifice, which we need to unlock, guys. Sure, I can help in the garden. The woman is at least 100 years old. You assume the only thing she needs help with is picking some daisies from the grass. She claps her hands.
Perfect. Let's head straight down to work, and afterwards Ethel will make you a hot tea.
So her name's Ethel. The lively old woman immediately scurries through one of the narrow doors and hastily waves to you to follow her. A smile creeps onto your face. You got a good feeling about this. Imagine this old lady is Cthulhu in disguise. Anything's possible, Freddy. Trying not to knock anything over, you make your way through the darkness. This place seems less like house and more like an art installation. You walk through another room that doesn't even have any candles, but a faint source of light leads you further. As you cross the room, you almost trip over a bag lying on the floor. This must be the storage room where the old lady keeps her potato sacks. The bag makes a squeaky sound. Poor harvest, evidently. Kick the potato sack again. Walk into the garden. Why? Why are these options? She's going to make cookies for you that turn out to be full of arsenic. Why would she just have arsenic lying around, Lydell? Kick the potato sack. You can't pass an opportunity to take revenge on a defenseless object for your own clumsiness. After a good kick, the bag makes a strange oomph. Yeah, the harvest must have been really, really bad for it to be making noise like that. Surely. You push the door open a little further and step into a small, dilapidated veranda. It appears that every single one of the small houses in this residential area has its own back garden, which is shielded from neighbors by high wooden fences. Ethel's garden is well protected from any prying looks. It's also very small. Only a medium-sized paddling pool would have room here in the summer, but the old woman seems to have her own plans regarding the use of her garden. Before you grace her with your presence, she was in the process of digging an elongated pit. Given the rain and the hard ground, this could not have been an easy task. She hasn't made a lot of progress. There's a shovel in the heap of earth that is piled up next to the pit. A light brown bag with many stains lies on the other side of the pit in the damp grass. The pit would have to be dug a bit deeper for the bag to fit, though. So I don't think we're gonna get sacrificed, guys. I think we're participating in her sacrifice.
So,
Ethel claps her hands. You freeze. You hadn't noticed her coming up next to you.
this needs to be buried before it starts to stink.
Your hands grab the shaft of the shovel, but then something catches your attention. It's the linen bag. Its contents twist and turn with alarming regularity. What's in the bag? Consider it done. What's in the bag? What's in the bag? I hate the way the old lady moves her hands. Freddy, I'm saying the exact same thing. I said that earlier too. I was like, I can't stand it. I'm like, what are you doing? Please stop. What's in the bag? You ask. Even as you ask the question, you doubt whether you'll like the answer.
Well, if you really want to know, sweetie.
Ethel leans against a pillar of her porch. Your question seems to amuse her.
It's a bunch of rabbit ferrets. They came and dug up almost half the garden. Most of them I shot to Kingdom Come.
The old woman pretends to aim with a rifle.
But I must not have killed all of them right dead.
The twitching from the linen cloth still has your full attention. It is regular, almost hypnotizing, just like a lava lamp. Chop chop! Talk to Ethel about animal cruelty. Is there a human being in there? I've changed my mind. What's in the box? Ethel, could it be that this is Well, you point to the twitching bag in the cold grass. Pretty messed up and heartless? I mean, did you really put a bunch of ferret carcasses and live ferrets into a bag in order to bury them together? The old woman crosses her arms.
They're ruining my garden.
Chop chop, I've changed my mind. Alright. You grab the shovel and get ready to work on the small ditch that has already been dug. Chop chop! The faster you dig the ominous pit for the suspicious bag, the sooner you'll be able to sleep, hopefully without ferret-filled nightmares.
A toot toot.
Ethel does the gesture of a train. Oh,
Toot toot.
Ethel does the gesture of a train driver. How nice! Pensioners with such a sunny disposition are rare. The earth is softer than you had anticipated. Instead of rock-hard ground, you dig up soft earth, and quite a few bones, and some dental braces. I guess you've had a lot of pets then. Do these dental braces belong to you? Don't mention anything. Thanks, Itch Glitch. I can't do voices with any consistency, so I'm sure sometimes it sounds alright and sometimes probably not. But I appreciate it. Do these dental braces belong to you? You ask carefully. Ethel laughs and curls up with amusement.
No, silly.
Still giggling, the old woman leans back against the veranda. Everything that needed to be said has been said. Bit by bit, you dig the pit further, and soon you've produced a huge pile of earth, which is full of bones. Ethel seems very pleased with your work. Before you know it, the old woman is standing at your side, digging you in the ribs with her elbow.
Well, that was a piece of cake for a young person like you, wasn't it, sweetie?
She claps her hands and leads you to the bag, which is now writhing as if possessed by the devil.
Go on, bag in. Bit of dirt on top of the end.
The skinny hand pats you on the back.
I'll put on the kettle.
Ethel returns to her house and leaves you alone with the dug ditch, a twitching linen bag, and many questions. You get down to business. Look into the bag. We found a dinosaur. Maybe it's her husband, or at least one of them. I wonder if we could free the person and then leave together. Now that the old woman is gone, you can risk a peek. What is it that's moving there inside the bag? Is it a human? A drugged person desperately trying to get attention? Or are they actually rabid ferrets? The moment of truth, you sink down onto the wet grass. The knot is loose enough that you can undo it quickly. Your heart beats loudly in your chest as you open the bag to make out any details in the dark. It's ferrets! One ferret jumps right in your face and bites your nose. In order to hold on to you, the animal rams its sharp claws into your skin. Your neck and cheeks burn like fire, but they're only a small note in the grand concerto of pain that's playing out in your body. Still in shock, you notice that another ferret has taken the chance to escape. It is now crawling up your head in a spiral. You can feel tiny but effective teeth sinking into your scalp. And this is not how I thought we'd go out, guys. In a blind panic, you feel more and more little creatures crawling over your body, and their little teeth and claws are penetrating every patch of skin. She was right. The fortune teller at the fun fair was right. As a small child of only 11 years old, you did not know what to do with the terrible prophecy you were given. Death by ferrets. You always thought it was a metaphor for something. Now you have to admit that the woman with the colorful turban had expressed herself surprisingly clearly. I like that we're getting some backstory accompanied with this. Yeah, I think we're gonna die from ferrets, guys. These little noodles are a bit aggressive. In a futile attempt to escape, you stumble over a dead ferret. The weird angle at which you fall worries you, but the countless ferrets that have bitten into your body prevent you from taking any corrective measures. Your head hits something sharp, and everything goes black. Death by rabid ferret. You got torn to shreds. Life is like a sack of rabid ferrets. Okay. I wonder if the pyre starts us off in... No, it starts us off at the pyre. Okay. I want to start off where we're looking through the city. Boop, 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 boop. Marsh. No. Oops. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we do have a place where we can just start there. I think we do have to start here. That's hilarious. Wow.
Thank you, Autistic Bigfoot. Maybe one day I will, if I ever have more time, pursue being an audible narrator. I think it's also hard too because, again, I think I kind of can lack consistency with voices and stuff when I'm reading. So for a professional thing, that would be harder to do. But also, people are going to look for a very particular kind of voice for the kind of books that they want, and I'm sure there are probably projects out there that I would match, but it would be harder to find them without, like, experience. But hey, everyone starts somewhere. But maybe one day. We'll see. That is hilarious. Wow. Great end. Best end ever, where we got the backstory of being 11 years old. Say goodbye. Please don't tell her I was here. Sound of creaking. You wonder what to do. We're gonna leave. Well, hi-dee-ho, friends. Let's see if we can actually find a cozy place to stay tonight. Knock on doors. I really love that the knocking on doors option, like, legitimately, like, that's so many things in this game. I love that a bunch of the choices legitimately bring you down a different path. No, we're not rizzing. Freddy, not right now anyway. Try another door. Try to provoke a reaction. Stay the night. I wonder if we do confess if she closes the door on us. I bet she will. So she did hear you. Yeah, I guess that was me, you answer truthfully. It's a very urgent call. The woman looks you up and down. You feel assessed and judged. Why does she look so happy about her honesty? Then there's a rattling cough, and judging by the corners of her mouth, she may even be laughing.
Well, at least you're an honest kid.
She opens the door a little wider and waves you in.
Okay, come in.
Always Riz.
Oh, thank you, Autistic Bigfoot.
Gratefully, you step into the apartment. You try to make out details about the inside of the dark old house. Candles, yep, okay, we've read this part. The old woman is probably blind, and that's why she doesn't need lighting.
I have a guest bed available. I agree, I will help you in your garden. And now I know it's ferrets, so I don't feel weird about it.
Kick the bag! I'm kicking it this time with intention. Not that the character knows, but I know. I am kicking it with intention. Okay, that's fair. I don't think I'm ready for all that. I don't know who's ready for all that, Freddy. What's in the bag?
Consider it done. No questions asked. I guess you had a lot of pets then? You ask carefully.
Oh no, I've never had any pets.
Ethel answers, you calmly, as you unload a pile of bones next to the pit.
Bit by bit, you dig the pit further, and soon you've produced a huge pile of earth.
She goes to put the kettle on.
Get down to business.
Tea! Tea sounds good! Especially after a day like today. The linen bag at your feet is still writhing back and forth as if possessed by the devil. After careful consideration, you decide to violently kick it into the pit.
To carefully roll it into the pit. Okay, after being eaten alive by ferrets, I want to violently kick it into the pit, but I'm really worried, like, it's gonna come untied and the ferrets will still murder us. Should my pettiness... I'm gonna go petty. We're going petty.
These rabid ferrets were asking for it! The tip of your shoe kicks right into the middle of the fabric. The bag only rolls a few inches. It now writhes even more, as if its contents were possessed by the devil. Are ferrets able to communicate with each other? You could swear you heard a distinct oomph sound. 2, 3, 4, 5 well-placed kicks, and the bag finally lands in the pit.
Maybe just roll. Oh, never mind.
Life is a happy song, and you shovel the heaped-up soil back into the pit. Oh, sorry guys. You make an effort to distribute the previously exposed bones in the soil with authentic regularity. You want to leave everything the way you found it. Then your work is done. The moment you ram the shovel into the ground, lightning strikes over Innsmouth, followed by a crashing roll of thunder.
Vengeance! Thank you guys, thank you for the blessings. I tuned in just in time for more kicking. Always kicking. Except this time it's violent rodents.
Better go inside. Inside the hut, you follow a trail of tea lights that guide you back to the living room like a landing strip. Ethel comes out of the room that you hadn't even noticed before.
Here's my little guest room. I hope you like it. Tea is nearly ready.
After thanking Ethel for her hospitality, you disappear into the small room to recover from the exertion of digging. Although the guest room is also lit by nothing other than the candles, it's cozier than the rest of the house. This is probably due to the light-colored wallpaper which is covering the rotted wood. Ah, the evening is lovely. Delicious tea and cookies with Ethel and a warm bed. You're sleeping great. In the morning, Ethel has prepared a huge breakfast for you, and the first sun rays of the day bathe the house, which seemed so creepy last night, in a soft light. It's crazy how perception can play tricks on you. When you leave her house and wave goodbye, you realize something. It occurs to you that Ethel is an awful animal abuser. Show her middle finger. Keep waving. You just keep waving, trying to suppress the memory of dead ferrets. I like that they're like, wow, Ethel's a horrible animal abuser, when we actively decided to kick that sack into the pit. Like, that's a decision we made. Is this a good ending, Freddy? I think it just might be. Gosh, this town is the worst. It's a Sunday morning, and no shady patrols and frog-like creatures lurking in the shadows. Every now and then you have thoughts like, nice place, or not so terrible, creep up on you. The sunshine helps, definitely. A front of gray clouds is already lurking on the horizon, but the bright morning hours ease the paranoia from last night. What also helps is the fact that not a soul is out and about. If you looked like the people from Innsmouth, you probably also only venture out at night. With these, if you looked like the people from Innsmouth, you'd probably also only venture out at night. With these musings, you walk through the old town and back to the city center. It doesn't take long until you stand in front of the bus that will take you and a handful of villagers back to Boston. It didn't go so badly. Oh, I'm sorry, Autistic Bigfoot. I think generally ferrets are supposed to be super cute and everything. This is not a very good ferret portrayal. The first rays of sun caress your cheeks. A good day indeed. Even the traffic right outside your bedroom is moderate today, at least for this early time of day. Thanks to your successful work at Innsmouth, you can afford to be at the office a little later. Dahlia did give you a big bonus that should sort you out for at least 6 months. If you handle things in the right way now and manage to get follow-up cases, you should be financially stable in no time. A smile sneaks onto your face when you think about your trip to Innsmouth. A bunch of odd characters, no doubt, but that's just what country folk are like. You already missed the sea breeze. Maybe another weekend trip in the little seaside town is in order soon. This character, I swear, goes back and forth between like, this is the worst place in the world, I want to leave, to, actually, maybe it's not so bad. Living like high society on a shoestring budget. Then you might also be able to try to those fish delicacies you've been dreaming about. With a yawn, you bury your head back in your pillow. Just a few more minutes. I think that was the second best ending we got. Apparently choices early in the game will influence choices much further in. Really? Oh my goodness. If that is true, Lumeria, then we have so much more of this game to play than I thought we did, because we've consistently locked in the same ending. Oh yeah, and that bus! When we took the bus station and we got that golden key for donating some money, we still haven't figured out what that thing he gets, like, will even do. What is the best ending? So far, the best ending has been when we got our body possessed for 5 years by a weird space slug, and that space slug improved everything about our life, and then we just got to re-inhabit our body with the improved life. That's been the best ending so far. And you kind of improved your life too, because while the space slug was inhabiting your body, you got to learn like everything about human history. So as long as you're able to kick your bad habits, that one would probably be the nice nicest ending so far. But dang, this game's so detailed with all that. Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we have to follow the girl to the other destination. I love the multiverse scenarios in fiction. Yes, we spent time making a more addictive version of nicotine that we couldn't even try because we weren't able to, like, smoke it or whatever. But it was, on top of that, you also were forced to learn about human history. That was, like, part of their whole program. So we still learned stuff. We just spent our personal time learning chemistry. Okay. The marsh. Load. So this time we're gonna go to the incorrect address. Oh no, wait. This is where she's already taken us to her house. We need to back up. Not the scene. Main menu. Time to kidnap the kid? We can't kidnap the kid. That's not an option. Okay, we have to go to town square. Ah! Come on. Town square. I hate chemistry. Learn to love it. Oh, and we have to, there's so many things we have to do, guys. I'm trying to like follow this as systematically as possible, but I also don't want to like keep playing things like the exact same stuff over and over again in case there isn't differences. Because you don't want it to get boring. Look at the games. First person shooters. We're gonna play boom. Q for boom. Play strategically. Run circles around them. Look down at the child. Don't kick them. Talk to Tabitha. Show her the photo. Eh? Her name is Evelyn. Nice try. Is this a bad joke? Listen, I don't know what you're playing at, but I've got no time for this. I've got to run a PI business. Evelyn rolls her eyes.
But we don't live there.
Great. First her name's not Tabitha, and now this. Go to the address you have noted down. You wave around the Polaroid picture. Wave it like a Polaroid picture. Your mother has explicitly written down this address, and that is where we're going. The girl theatrically slaps both hands on her forehead.
You are so stupid. Fine, let's go there then.
Nice. I appreciate how many goofy choices there are in this game. Me too, Jody. Me too. Maybe we can adopt the kid? The kid has a family. Well, too bad. That's not adoption, that's kidnapping. Oh, the conversations you get into in chat. Very wild. Unsurprisingly, the old town has fewer tourist attractions than the town center. Fish guts, compost, and other random discarded goods line the streets. A pathetic trash parade leads right to the residential neighborhood. The lack of scary fountains is made up for by the presence of some rather creepy-looking fishing folk. The men's tans and scarred skin around you makes you wonder whether there's been some sort of large-scale chemical accident. You don't need to be a PI to know that these people like to be by themselves. These are simple people living in mossed houses made from rubble and wooden boards. The wood on some of the houses is pitch black and rotten. You have no time for poverty tourism, though. With Tabitha holding onto your hand, you're in good spirits as you walk through the neighborhood. I also like that we're so delusional about this. We're still calling her Tabitha when she said her name is Evelyn. Shoggoth Avenue 43. You're pretty sure that place must be close. Life would be so much easier if you weren't incapable of reading maps, or if Tabitha was a bit more cooperative.
Honestly, I don't live here,
she announces once more and tries to wind her hand out of yours. At least she's not making a scene. The last thing you need to be seen as someone who kidnapped a child. The girl is petulant, as if none of this concerns her. You blame her behavior on puberty, poor upbringing, Innsmouth. Poor upbringing. Dahlia must be a horrible mother. That's true. Her mom doesn't seem to care about her even a little bit. When I was little, and I had made life difficult for a person of authority in the same way you are right now, I would have had the living daylights beaten out of me, and I would have said please and thank you for it. Tabitha looks at you very skeptically.
You would have said thank you for being beaten?
Those were the times. You lie with a smile. The girl frowns, and you can see her face rearrange itself in an expression of pity. At least she stopped trying to free her hand from yours. Things would be so much easier if only you'd work with me, you say. I get you home. Your mother gives me all of your money. Everyone's happy. Tabitha rolls her eyes. She's pretty cheeky for such a strange-looking girl. You turn down a small side street. By now you're really far off the beaten track. You've not seen any shops for a long time, not even a kiosk. You could swear that people have started looking at you suspiciously. Tabitha keeps nagging.
You're not listening to me!
Precisely! Listen to what she has to say. Our first interaction with this child involved blunt force trauma. She deserved it. You shouldn't interrupt somebody while they're focused on an arcade game. Fine. We're nearly there, but please, if you really must, tell me, what is your problem?
For one, I really don't live here, and I don't know why my mother would have given you this address.
From the corner of your eye, you notice two fishermen leaning on some barrels looking over to you.
And secondly, this is the area of Innsmouth where foreigners often get lured to only never be seen again.
Can you repeat that bit about foreigners and never seen again? You get a strange feeling in the pit of your stomach and realize that you probably should have paid a little more attention to your surroundings. Is Innsmouth dangerous after all? Why do you never listen to other people?
So,
Tabitha, a bit flustered. She clearly didn't expect you to listen to her.
this is the area into which visitors are lured, usually under the false pretense of getting to see some new sights, and then they come here but never return home. Do you know what I mean?
How much does this child know?
Explain it to me like I'm 5. How do you know about all of this? Okay. I think we don't have brain cells. We need more details. You still have trouble following all of this. Explain it to me like I'm 5, you say, hoping she doesn't realize how clueless you are. She rolls her eyes.
It's a trap. And you're about to walk right into it.
Huh? Why does my mouse sometimes not click? It's been doing this recently. I think I need a new mouse. Like, you can probably hear me clicking on it, and it doesn't activate it on my actual computer.
It's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Tabitha raises her eyebrows and gives you a challenging look.
I mean, did nothing strike you as odd today?
Did it? Yes. No. Maybe. She gives you a pitiful look. At least she's not letting the matter rest. The brief exchange has left you puzzled. It's very hard to think when there are people staring at you from all sides. You've never been good under pressure. You decide to believe her. Call her a liar. We'll believe her this time. Let's see if there's what this will lead us to. She's so innocent, lol. It was a trap this whole time. You stop abruptly. It seems counterproductive to your personal health and safety to keep walking. Tabitha seems pleased about this. Her strange eyes rest on you. So do the eyes of the fishermen a few yards behind you. Are they the same ones you walked past earlier? Did they follow you? Or are they simply men with the exact same deformities? Okay, you are being followed. This is not good. Not good at all. Cool. Cool. You keep repeating to yourself like a mantra. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Cool. The girl tugs at your hand to get your attention.
Do you know what you're doing? Do I look like I know what I'm doing?
Out of the corner of your eye, you can see that the fishermen have turned to one another together and are exchanging a few words. Then they look back over to you. Your mind is racing. Ask the girl for help. Talk to the fishermen. Pretend like you're having a heart attack. I don't think a heart attack's gonna help this situation. Maybe the child will save us, guys. Had that problem earlier today. I thought my computer was lagging. Is it a wireless mouse? It's not, actually. It's a USB one, which is why I'm surprised it's been like this for a while now. For like a week. It's been doing this. I guess I could like unplug it and plug it back in and see if that helps. We'll see. A single bead of sweat runs down your right temple. You grab Tabitha's sweater. What should I do? You need to help me after all that we've gone through. The girl briefly seems to consider today's events. She remembers how you dragged her out of the arcades and made her come to this gosh-forsaken place. She also remembers the many, many times she warned you about coming here, and the many times you ignored her advice. She sighs deeply.
Fine. So, I think you should start running. Get as far away as you can, like now.
Take her advice or no? Take her advice. Run!
You don't need to be told twice. You run off without a word of thanks or goodbye. Hey! Damn it! Annoyed grunts and shouts reverberate behind you. You can also hear steps. Your two tails have dropped their cover and are now following you. You don't care. Thanks to Tabitha's advice, you've got a comfortable lead. During your escape through the neighborhood, you see even more strangely deformed people. Their eyes follow you, but no one dares to stop you. After a few hundred yards, you're out of breath. You lean against a wall in a small side alleyway and pant heavily. You're almost expecting to hear steps follow you, but no. You've managed to shake them off. Whew. Okay, and then we just end up in the streets again. So, I guess, we either do the trauma route. Speed is key. Speed is security. Run, Forrest, run! Or, I guess we could try the phone option here. You're suspicious of the behavior of the locals. Maybe it's enough to contact the outside world. You could order an overpriced taxi, for example, and go to the next village. Could I use your phone? You ask the old lady. She licks her lips. Confess. I don't want to bother you. A quick phone call will do. The old woman can sweep her own leaves in her garden. You simply want to get out of here as quickly as possible. I don't want to bother you. A quick phone call would do. The old woman purses her lips.
There's no phone here. There's no phone in the whole quarter. We don't even have power.
She licks her crinkled lips. They look even drier now than before.
We don't have that long, sweetie, so please stop wasting my time.
We're just gonna get the good ending if we do this, so let's... I'm assuming we'll just get the good ending, so we excuse ourselves.
Oh, whoa! What did I just skip? What did I just skip? I was making an assumption. Why did she draw a gun on me? I didn't read it. I was just like, oh, we'll just leave. The grandpa's packing. When she returns to the living room, she's holding a shotgun. Just get out of here. Attack the old woman. Explain yourself. Attack. I don't know what I skipped. A confused old lady. You'd better make short work of her. Without thinking further, you take a leap forward, ready to punch the woman. What you didn't take into account, yeah, of course, is that why did we attack in the dumbest way possible? You know, if she's really close to us, you could push the barrel aside. The guns are supposed to be long range for a reason. But she swings in a wide arc, which then hits you squarely in the chin. It's hard to say what hurts more, your chin or the fact that you walked right into this. The old lady probably has experience with intruders or destitute private detectives in her apartment.
Psst, sweetie,
the old lady whispers.
Oh my goodness. I think our mind was actually blown that time. How does that happen? How could this happen to me? Okay, we'll try one more route before calling it so you guys can get to Sarah's stream too. This time we'll follow through with not listening to the child, like an ignoramus. Different kind of trauma. Yup, a very different kind of trauma. I did not see that coming. Just, it shocks you how a little, just a little change. Everything goes crazy. Boom. Get her! Head over the photo. Wrong. Go to the address. Simple people. Probably puberty. Now I'm sure everything's very difficult in school right now and you're in love for the very first time.
But it's not a good enough reason to make my life difficult. I'm just trying to help you. The girl sighs deeply. At least she stopped trying to free her hand from yours. That's better, you praise her. Things would be so much easier if you only worked with me. I get you home, people are happy, going down a side street, she's nagging us, but you're not listening to me. Precisely! And this has worked out fine for me so far. You're about to launch into a tirade when you notice two fishermen leaning on some barrels looking over to you. You begin to whisper,
Let's get this thing over with and you never have to see me again.
Tabitha puffs up her cheeks.
Fine.
Luck is on your side. Only a few moments later, and you spot a street sign of Shoggoth Avenue.
She's like the old lady from Ratatouille. She really is.
With an optimistic, shall we? You pull Tabitha further down the dark street on which Dahlia Marsh claims to live. Only about 3 meters wide, this is more of an alleyway. Uneven footpath, rotten planks of wood, overturned trash cans, a barrel of rotten fish. You start to doubt that the woman you met in your office would live here. The whole situation makes you feel mildly skeptical. Very excited indeed. Almost! You're nearly there. All your worries about money will be gone, and you'll be able to indulge in some delicious seafood near the harbor. You happily skip over a rotting octopus that someone has left out on the street. This is it. 43 Shoggoth Avenue. You involuntarily smooth down the front of your rumpled trench coat. This is an important, nay, historic moment in your career as a private investigator. You've solved a missing persons case. This is the kind of publicity that will land your face on the cover of local newspapers or even the news. With Tabitha in tow, you rush over to the little gate and press the doorbell button for a few seconds, the doorbell with the sign Hawthorne written on it.
Mention the name on the doorbell sign. Wait. Watch out, the old lady's gonna shoot you. A little late for that, Razor Geezer.
Hey, you say confused and point at the sign. Shouldn't it say Marsh on there? The girl doesn't even look at the sign and simply rolls her eyes one more time.
I don't know. Should it?
Ungrateful brat. Your enthusiasm deflates when no one opens the door after your 5th attempt at ringing the doorbell. Fine. The agreement was that you would deliver her daughter, but even a worried mother needs to leave the house once in a while, the house which has a different name on the door. Maybe she's simply out buying groceries.
How long do you want to wait here?
Tabitha asks. As long as necessary, darn it. Let's give her another half hour. As long as necessary, darn it, you hiss at the little girl. You're so close to that bonus. You're not going to have this case ruined on the last stretch. Pull yourself together, you say, perhaps more to yourself than anyone else.
Okay, man,
The little one says. Now you wait. You wait like you've never waited before. Tabitha seems to have resigned herself to the situation. She stopped begging you to let her go so she can go home. She is at home. You settle down on the small steps leading up to the entrance of the house. Its only place in the alley that's not completely grimy. After 20, 30, or perhaps even 60 minutes, you rest your eyes, just for a moment. When you open them again, Tabitha is gone. But someone else is now in the alleyway in her stead. A group of fishermen. They must have surrounded you silently without you noticing. Scaly face with green eyes stare at you. Blackish green tongues dart out over bulging lips, anticipating something. They look like sharks circling their prey. With a sudden move, you get up from the step and rub your bum cheek where you have pins and needles. An evil grin creeps up their faces. Walk past them, try to distract them. To be honest, I almost forgot about the whole plotline of the case. Yeah, especially early on when we played this game, we pretty much abandoned the whole plotline of the case as soon as we got into town. Oh no, what's that? You cry in mock horror and point at a barrel of rotten fish behind them. What? Both turn around to look, and you're seriously surprised that this old trick worked. You run off without a word of thanks or goodbye. She looks as if she'll cope. Hey! Okay, so I think that's another error, because Tabitha was gone already, and I'm assuming that she looks as if she'll cope is referring to her. So I think this is the same kind of dialogue that I would have linked up with if you chose to, like, confront and distract them in the path where you were still with her. Or they could be the lizardmen from Spider-Man. You never know. Hey, the sleuth's getting away! Annoyed grunts and shouts reverberate behind you. You can also hear steps. Your two tails have dropped their cover and are now following you. During your escape through the neighborhood, you see even more strangely deformed people. Their eyes follow you, but no one dares stop you. After a few hundred yards, you're out of breath. You lean against a wall in a small alleyway and pant heavily. You're almost expecting to hear steps following you, but no, you've managed to shake them. Interesting. Okay, so it's actually kind of easy to not get murdered there. Shaking my head. 1 out of 10 game. Okay, so hear me out. Let's get that shotgun up in our face again so I can actually read it. Provoke. Could I use your phone? Confess. I just want to use your phone. You don't have a phone. So, no. Excuse me, ma'am, but it's a little too wet for me outside to be pulling weeds right now.
Fine. One moment, dear.
The old woman walks off into the next room at a leisurely pace. You remain standing helpless in the dark room. You're not quite sure what's going on here, but the creaking floor and clinking china suggest that she's probably preparing a brew right now. A hot tea would be just the thing. The thought of it alone already warms your trembling limbs. And there's the gun. Alright, so that's what I had read past the first time. You would normally not want a shotgun in your face. No, but we don't know the other options. It's glitch. We have to find all of the options. Wait, didn't she say she had a rifle? It looks more like a shotgun. I think it says a shotgun here. Can't remember if she said rifle when we were talking in her garden. Just get out of here! Explain yourself. Explain yourself? A good plan, but what are you gonna say? While you're thinking, the old woman has managed to load her shotgun. You mention the missing girl. Say, all I wanted to do was use the friggin' phone! Distract her. Is all your brain is capable of coming up with. The old woman directs the barrel of her shotgun worryingly close to your head, but she hesitates. She tilts her head and looks past the notch over to you.
What's that, sweetie?
Oh no, you yell loudly and point over the lady's shoulder.
What is it?
She replies, now worried. She lets one hand go from the shotgun to adjust her glasses.
What's wrong?
What's wrong? You're pointing a shotgun at my face! She takes a nervous look behind her. Run outside. Attack the old woman. Do you think we're gonna die again if we get attacked even though her back is turned to us? She's got all the weapons. A confused old lady. Nope. Yeah, the exact same thing happens. I was thinking if you distracted her, it might change it. But it does not. Okay. I said that would be the last one. Bummer to end on a dupe. A dupe ending. But alas, we'll have to play more another time, my friends.
Blam, 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 blam.
Yeah, dang RIP. But thanks for joining me. And I hope you have fun over with Sarah on her stream. We'll get them good. We'll explore the many, many more options next time. Man, every time I think that we're starting to narrow down the game endings, I feel like we find another branching path to explore. So, hey, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Thanks so much for being here. It's always a joy and a pleasure to have you. So, bye, guys. Have a good rest of your evenings.